YouTube, we are back with another reaction video. Now look, most of you guys probably already know that Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 is gonna come out in like 2 days. So we're gonna react to Game Theory, Poppy Playtime, everything you need to know before Chapter 4. And look, in the previous reaction, I had a couple of you guys that were trying to tell me a bunch of information on the lore of the game. I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys for that. And I want to give a quick shout out to Max Gamer for telling me to react to this video right here. I never even knew about this video, so I appreciate you for letting me know. And without further ado, let's get into the video.
What do you need to know before Poppy Playtime Chapter 4?
Wait, hold up. Let me take off these subtitles.
Since the previous chapter.
Okay,
and in the meantime, Mob has done what they do best, giving out more lore than you can shake a mechanical arm at. But don't worry, loyal theorists, because I have played the spin-offs, I watched every trailer, I even read the book. Also, you don't have to. Here is everything you need to know about the Poppy Play timeline.
All right, let me know, Game Theory. Let me know.
Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's ready to take its relationship with Poppy to the next level. We got nothing. No new character, no new trailer, not even a release date.
That is... Wait, no, actually, we do have a release date.
Was releasing games so fast, Matt couldn't keep up. Not 5 minutes before our recent theory dropped, Mob Entertainment released a new trailer with a new character and a release date. 5 minutes? Are you kidding me? I'm convinced Poppy wasn't brought to life for law reasons. It was to troll me for all eternity. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same thing to us this week. Regardless, because of Mob's ridiculous and seemingly never-ending amount of content leading up to Chapter 4's release, it can be a little tricky to keep up with everything. We've had a book, 2 ARGs, a Roblox spin-off, and over a dozen teasers and videos.
Dude,
but if you're someone that's only played the games, or you just haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then there's been a whole year worth of story that you would have no idea about going into Chapter 4. So today, I'm going to give you all a hand and fill you in from the beginning with all the important names, dates, and lore Mob has given us, as well as a few theories of our own for good measure, all in one cohesive timeline. Now, this is a big task, so instead of doing this like our usual theories, I wanted to try treating this like our FNAF timeline. It's more story-focused, with references in the bottom corner showing thumbnails, books, titles, basically any citations that I'll be pulling from. I've also got this nifty little traffic light symbol in the top corner to clear things up. Green means what I'm saying are facts that we have physical evidence for. Amber means what I'm saying is theory, but it's supported by evidence. And red means it's speculation that makes sense for the story, but we don't have a lot of evidence for. So keep a close eye on your screens, theorists. It's time to analyze the history of this forgotten factory. Just be careful that the screen doesn't stare back.
What did I just watch? All right, look, real quick, I just want to say, I never really reacted to any game theory videos, but just watching this right now, it's like they're saying so much stuff. It's like a bunch of information just coming at me. I barely even have time to even react. I'm just like looking at so much stuff. Like this probably took so much time and research to do. I feel like I can't even talk because of all the information that they're just giving to all of us at this point.
Playtime Co. was founded in the good old US of A in 1930. Quickly, it became one of the most well-renowned toy companies in the world, priding itself in making toys locally instead of overseas like its competitor Mattel. Yes, that Mattel, the ones who made Barbie.
I know exactly where you're going with this, and I have to say, I really resent it.
All of this success was thanks to one man, the founder of Playtime Co., Elliot Ludwig. All he wanted was to bring joy to children. But sadly, that noble goal meant that he spent all of his time at work, neglecting his own family. And his wife had had enough, divorcing him that same year. Nevertheless, Elliot pushed forward, though for 2 decades, he struggled to figure out the key to innovating the toy-making world. Until finally, he hit a breakthrough. 1950, Elliot created a toy that would change the world forever. Poppy Playtime.
A little girl can talk to her. Poppy gives her answers.
We all know this.
The first doll actually able to have a conversation with a child.
This is from the first game, I think.
But her hair also smelled like poppies, which had been used throughout history to help children fall asleep, making her an instant hit with the parents. How did Elliot achieve this incredible feat? Well, because Poppy wasn't just a plastic toy. Elliot used organic parts to make her, allowing Poppy to really seem
that looks so weird.
They just needed to add a quick no refund policy to anyone who tried to fix the Poppy doll themselves, just to keep it under wraps.
Alrighty, so he was slick with it.
Thankfully, no one ever discovers this little secret of Elliot's. But Poppy sales alone can't keep the toy company afloat. So they release a handful of new toys, like
this is where they all came from.
In 1961, or Boxy Boo in 1966, though none of them really compare to Poppy in terms of popularity. But then, out of nowhere, tragedy struck. Since day one, Elliot had been encouraging his employees to adopt, to bring joy to children who had none of their own. And he lived by example, adopting a daughter of his own. Finally, the family that the family man had always wanted, until she passed away before his very eyes. There was nothing he could do to save her.
Yo, we could already see where this is going, bro. This is always how it goes too. They lose a family member. I'm assuming he's gonna try to revive her or something like that, because that's always how it goes. It's always like a scientist or something, bro. Like somebody who loses a loved one and then they're trying so hard to revive them that they're willing to make so many sacrifices just to bring them back to life. And usually those sacrifices are like bad. So let's see how this goes.
Elliot could do was take the biological knowledge he had and turn her into another.
He turned her into
just so
Poppy.
he could keep a part of her with him forever, so part of her could live on. Little did he know how successful that experiment would be. Somehow, his daughter's mind managed to survive the process. Naturally, Elliot is shocked by this. His daughter is back, living on inside this doll that he made. He couldn't let her fall out of his grasp again, so he builds a family home inside the factory storage.
That is crazy. He somehow managed to successfully bring the consciousness of his daughter that died. He put her consciousness in the Poppy doll. All of a sudden, now his daughter is basically Poppy, and that's why she's in here. I thought it was the prototype that put her in there, inside of that sleeping area, not Elliot. Is Poppy actually his daughter, or now I'm confused. Let's just see.
Locks her inside a glass case to keep her safe. He even adds a passage leading directly to his office, so he
I remember that from chapter 2.
Or she wants. With his family now returned to him, his passion to strive for innovation was restored.
But with so much ambition, he rose back up and continued to fulfill his vision for the Playtime Co. toy factory.
The first thing he needed was more people like him. Smart, capable people that could help him continue to
more scientists
and answer the toughest questions the world had to offer. Like, say, how was a child able to live on inside a doll, perhaps? But older minds are harder to shape. He needed people who still had some of that childlike wonder, and thus the Young Geniuses program was born.
Okay, this is where Harley Sawyer comes in. This is where Harley Sawyer comes in.
That of the time period, trying to gather young minds together to turn them into the scientists of the future, stamped with the logo he'd been using for Playtime since the early days. This attracted many young and bright individuals, including a brilliant, albeit slightly cold young man named Harley Sawyer.
Exactly, Harley Sawyer.
Peculiar character.
Yo, this is where it all went down. Matter of fact, it already kind of went down as soon as he transferred his daughter's consciousness into the Poppy doll. But I know that Harley Sawyer was a menace. The dude, just for the sake of progress in terms of science, this dude was willing to do anything. Yo, scientists be kind of dangerous, bro. I can't even lie to you, bro.
He didn't care for his comrades. He hardly smiled. But one thing he clearly loved was science. And Elliot took a liking to this strange boy. He may not have been normal, but neither was Elliot. He saw part of himself in Harley. This was the kind of kid he could take under his wing, mold into someone who could really shape the future, and maybe even catapult Playtime into the stratosphere of success. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out. Harley never lost his distaste for others, and while he continued to pursue innovation, he was just doing so to push the boundaries of what could be done, not to help humanity like Elliot envisioned. That being said, Elliot didn't give up. He kept trying to change Harley's point of view.
Not gonna work, bro.
How hard he tried, it was no use. Harley could not change. Not here anyway. And so Elliot makes the hard decision to kick Harley out of the program, sending him home to the outside world to be around more people.
Yo, I didn't even know he kicked them out.
Help him to understand why they do what they do. Harley was destroyed by this news. His hero, Elliot Ludwig, was abandoning him. All he could see Elliot as was soft, pathetic, and short-sighted. Backstabbing him because he was too much of a genius.
A menace, not no genius, a menace.
It didn't matter now. He had to do what he was told.
Bro was a threat.
Harley left the program, disappearing from the halls of Playtime Co. At least for now.
Yeah, because I'm like, there's no way he just left. Like, I know he had to have came back or something.
As the years go by, more and more, Elliot feels like it's not really enough to just encourage his employees to adopt. There are still so many children that need a home, much like his own daughter did. And while the Young Geniuses program was good, by taking on young people so late in their childhoods, even they were already stuck in their ways like Harley was. So, in 1976, Elliot announces a new program, Playcare. Playtime's own on-site orphanage, where he can continue to bring joy to children and educate them in the ways they should go, creating a mass of young, brilliant minds that could help lead the world to prosperity. But while all the
So I'm assuming, right, he made Playcare in order to create the orphanage for the kids. In his head, he had good intentions. He wanted the kids to have a nice life. But I'm assuming Harley Sawyer comes back. When does Harley Sawyer come back? Because I'm assuming he's the one that came back and started transforming all the kids into toys. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, right? We're gonna see. Let's see.
Those programs sound good on paper, and they were well received by the public. They were beginning to cost Elliot a lot of money. Poppy was the last big financial success, and that was over 2 decades ago. But he can't keep innovating in the toy world and run these programs on his own. He would need more staff. So he hires people like Stella Graber to run the Playcare, Leith Pierre as head of innovation,
I remember Leith Pierre,
N. Ritterman as the head of research, and Jimmy Roth as the chief marketing officer.
Who's this guy?
Their first assignment, figure out how to stop the company from feeling, quote, old-fashioned. With all their powers combined, they try to get the company back on top, starting with the release of brand new toys like Candy Cat in 1979.
1980. This will happen in 1980. Okay, let's see.
Release toys into the next decade. They try Swap-Em-Alls that you could mix and match like Catbee and PJ Pugapilla. They also try Kick Me Paul for some reason.
PJ was scary, bro.
Could quite match the success of Elliot's original Poppy. That was until 1984, when Elliot had another idea. He went to the team, and shortly after, he releases the Blue Boy himself,
Huggy Wuggy.
Things were looking up. Huggy is such a big hit with the kids, it basically becomes the face of the brand. In the eyes of the public, Poppy was a long-forgotten memory. Long live Huggy! Of course, he has to capitalize off of this success by releasing Huggy's pink counterpart, Kissy Missy.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie though. How did people see this and not instantly get scared? I'm telling you, bro, I see a 20-foot Huggy Wuggy looking at me like that, bro. I'm telling you, I will never go in that factory, ever. I look at that, bro, that looks like that. I am not going inside of that factory, bro. How did people like actually find this cool? I would have ran away like on sight as soon as I would have seen that.
To capitalize off of this success by releasing Huggy's pink counterpart, Kissy Missy, 1 year later. She too is a huge success, just not as big as Huggy, obviously. Playtime Co. is on top of the world at this point. It's almost like they can do no wrong. But sadly, over the next half of the decade, their profits once again decrease. Sure, Huggy was successful, but just like Poppy before, you can't sustain an entire company off of a single toy, even if he has a cute pink girlfriend. They needed something new, and one of them had an idea. What if you create a bunch of toys as part of a set?
Oh, those are the critters.
Kids aren't buying just one toy, but several. Enter the Smiling Critters in 1989.
1989.
Similar to Care Bears or Cabbage Patch Kids, these are small, cuddly toys with big personalities, but each one is unique, and so you would need to collect them all for the full experience. This was the perfect way to increase the dropping sales numbers.
Wait, how were they unique though?
Plus, to really capture the same appeal as Poppy and her poppy-scented hair, these critters would each come with their own unique scents.
Okay.
Effects. Crafty Corn smells like jasmine, Bobby Bear Hug like rose. But would calming be enough? Poppy's hair literally put children to sleep. That's what made her such a hit with the parents in the 50s. They needed these smiling critters to do the same. So they get to work developing.
Is this where Catnap comes in?
More smiling critters.
No way, this is Catnap.
Advertised scent of lavender, a scent associated with sleep, but instead of actually using lavender, they would create a poppy gas.
That's where they brought in Catnap
to sleep, just like Poppy did. They put the smoke inside the purple cat and gave him a name that tied into his sleepy powers, Catnap. And just to be on the safe side, Playtime Co. also commissions the creation of a Saturday morning cartoon featuring this new cast of characters, all begging Catnap to help them fall to sleep.
Yeah, Yeah,
with
that
his
thing was
red
scary in
snot,
chapter
showing
3. That
kids
thing
and
was so
parents
creepy.
alike that this is just what the toy is meant to do.
Yo, there's no way people seen this as a commercial and didn't get concerned. Because you guys remember when we played chapter 3, the way how those smiling critters were laughing, that thing was scary, bro. It looked like they went insane. No way people seen that and thought it was normal to just buy catnap, bro. I don't get it. We're gonna let it rock though.
Smoke, showing kids and parents alike that this is just what the toy is meant to do. Initially, everything is going according to plan. Sales for this new line of toys are great. They are flying off the shelves. Both parents and kids really seem to love these new adorable critters, except
Alrighty.
for catnap. After a few weeks, doctors began reporting a rise in children suffering from intense nightmares that all started after they received their catnap toys. In Playtime's desperation to mimic the sleep-inducing effects that Poppy had, they'd accidentally concocted something that, yes, put children to sleep, but also gave children horrible nightmares. Thankfully for Leith and the team, no connection was ever proven.
This is when they took him out,
they
right?
still needed to save face. They recalled all of the catnap toys, and catnap was removed from the smiling critters.
Yeah, that dude had to get up out of there, bro. And then I get an ad. Skip. Okay, 1990s.
The Smiling Critters disaster put Playtime Co. in a bad spot. If they were going to survive the next decade, something needed to be done and fast. And so, Leith Pierre put his head of innovation status to good use and came up with an unusual but effective plan. He hired a private investigator, Jared Lockhart, to track down former members of the Young Geniuses program that Elliot had started decades ago. These people trained under Elliot. They were geniuses from a young age, and most of them had quite impressive careers. If anyone was going to be able to come up with an idea to save this company, it would be one of them.
Is Harley Sawyer coming back?
Jared arrives with the list, and when it lands on Leith's
Harley Sawyer's
desk,
there, I know
there's
it.
one
Look.
option.
Harley Sawyer is back, bro. And when he comes back, first off, I don't know why he came back when he felt like he was betrayed. I would assume that maybe Harley Sawyer was gonna make his own company or his own thing, you know, go up against Elliot. But I don't know. I guess he decided to come back for his revenge or something. I really don't know.
Immediately catches his eye. Harley Sawyer.
Yup. Yup.
This guy was now certified by the American Board of Neurological Surgery. He was, by all accounts, a genius. And with Elliot using biological parts to make Poppy, a surgeon felt like the perfect fit. Leith presents this idea to Elliot for final approval. And while Elliot is hesitant at first, he does remember that Harley was the brightest of the bunch back in the day.
He was smart.
And maybe all
But
these
he a
years
menace,
away
though.
have taught him the lessons he was hoping he'd learn. Do it. With that approval, Leith reaches out to Harley on January 15th, 1990, giving him an offer to come and join Playtime Co. once again. And strangely, despite the hurt Elliot caused him all those years ago, for some reason, Harley accepts the offer. Immediately,
some
he begins
odd
showing
reason.
the level of promise they were hoping for from this recruit. He sees the problems at Playtime Co. The public.
Hold up, run that back, run that back.
Reason, Harley accepts the offer. Immediately, he begins showing the level of promise they were hoping for from this recruit. He sees the problems at Playtime Co., the public outcry, the declining profits, and he came up with an idea that would fix
The bigger bodies. This is where the big Huggy Wuggy pulls up.
We can increase our workforce and simultaneously decrease the number of lawsuits and people on our payroll.
This guy sounds creepy, bro.
People we have working aren't people. Put me in charge of it, and I will save this company.
Leith makes Harley head of special projects.
No way they
and
approved
together,
of that
they begin
message.
hiring other scientists to help with the development of the Bigger Bodies Initiative. Some of them are fellow Young Genius alumni like Dr. Bruno White and Dr. Carmine McKay, but others are just young and eager biologists looking for their first big break, like the owner of the orientation notebook, PW. From here, the company begins their experiments. Harley takes the new scientists to observe and study the Poppy doll that he remembered being in the storage bay from his days in the Young Geniuses program. He told them to use her as the blueprint to bring toys to life.
I am the cause. Being able to exist as a doll, it has killed so many people.
Everyone works diligently to try and recreate the magic of this one Poppy doll. But after 814 experiments, it's clear that things aren't working with simple rats. They need to try something bigger. They need to repeat what Elliot did. They need to use children.
They're gonna use all the
delivers
kids,
note to
bro.
Elliot as one of his many updates on the program. But once again, Elliot is torn. Up until this point, these experiments weren't really all that bad. It was just a few hundred rats that suffered the consequences. But But now he had a choice to make. He'd spent his life trying to bring joy to children, to give them a home, somewhere they could grow and overcome the odds. Harley still couldn't believe this soft old man. What is more important to you, these children or the business you've spent decades building, which people rely on for their own families? Mortality is just a curse on humanity anyway. If we can figure this out, all these orphans who had suffered would never grow old or sick. They could live forever and keep bringing joy to other children for centuries to come. It was not an easy decision, but this argument from Harley does.
Not gonna lie, bro, in a situation like that, bro, forget the company. Look, let me know in the comments what you guys would do. But I'm telling you right now, bro, if I would have had to put a bunch of people's lives in danger just for the sake of a company, bro, forget the company, bro. I'm gonna just do something new. Cause, bro, what is that mindset? That's the reason why scientists, bro, they're smart. And I get where they come from, but they're so dangerous, bro, because they're willing to do a lot of sacrifices, bro, just to get what it is, whatever it is that they want, or just for the sake of progress, just to become more smart. That stuff is dangerous. Let me know what you guys would do, bro. Would you guys choose the company or would you guys choose to keep everybody safe? Let me know.
Elliot. With that permission in hand, the senior staff of Playtime Co. set about building the Game Station, a facility designed to test the orphans' physical and mental abilities.
So this was all a test.
Toy, and if they were deemed ready, taken away for conversion.
They'd come for games and never come back.
As part of this process, they utilized the red.
That was Mommy Longlegs that just said that. She said they'd come for games, but they would never come back. I remember in chapter 2, she made it seem like if it was just like they left and just never came back, as if like they just didn't like her, they didn't care about her no more. That's how it kind of sounded like. But was she not aware of the fact that those kids were being turned into toys as well? Yo, I don't even get it. Y'all gonna have to let me know.
Made for the catnap toy. Where previously Poppy gels had failed, gas is a much more effective way of getting the mystical powers of the Poppy
that
flower
looks scary.
Poppy to life into the bodies of these orphans. They install shower heads throughout the playcare to distribute the gas, but it wasn't the most effective solution. Kids could see them and what they were doing. They became wary of going to bed. An alternate solution would need to be found.
They used catnap.
They had other problems to deal with. Over the last few years, there had been one employee that had been causing Playtime Co. a lot of trouble. They weren't ruining their plans as such. They were just a bit of an administrative headache. That man was Rich Lovitz. Initially,
wait, this guy was the dude in all of those VHS tapes that had like, he had like issues with the company. Like he kept getting angry. I think that was this guy.
He was working in the storage room and he seemed to be on board with the general Playtime mission, appreciating the good this company did for the orphans. Sadly though, Rich had a habit of losing his temper with management.
That dude was always getting angry.
He was demoted to the rejected toy room, which, as you might imagine, he took really well.
He 100% got mad. Yup, this guy, bro.
Actually heard all my complaints. I guess my words must have really inspired them to take action. Because the next day I got demoted down here to the freaking island of misfit toys.
Yup.
Why can't you stay?
Another ad. Alright, we're back at it.
Of course, Playtime Co. had to demote him again, putting him to work in construction in the caves beneath the factory. Down here, in relative solitude, he was able to recognize his shortcomings and, with the help of his new supervisor, began to improve, even to the point of getting promoted. At first, this seemed great for Playtime Co. A reformed employee. The system worked. That was until Rich continued being promoted and began learning what was really going on with the orphans. He cared for these kids. That was the one good thing he had going for him from the beginning.
He found out.
He begins flying off the handle once again. The problem was now he knew too much. He could actually cause a problem for Playtime.
Where, are they gonna kill him?
The authorities. They couldn't just fire him anymore. They needed to get rid of him.
There's no
with the
way.
Bigger Bodies initiative well underway, as well as Harley's requests for bigger subjects, they had an idea. They took Rich and used him as a guinea pig, turning him into the first semi-successful experiment 1006, which they dubbed.
This guy Rich is the prototype? Bro, I had no idea Rich was the prototype. No idea, bro. I mean, they did say that this is like yellow right now, so it's not 100% confirmed, but I don't know, bro. I mean, it seems legit. I don't know. It seems like they're saying the right thing. If this dude Rich really is the prototype, that is crazy.
The prototype. Not a toy as such, more a mix of mechanical and biological parts.
How did they even do this?
But was able to mimic voices of others to communicate. Playtime Co. was finally seeing success.
Okay, now I'm lost. How is it that it couldn't speak, but it could mimic voices? That's basically speaking. How couldn't it just like, I don't know, like do its own voice? I don't even know, bro. Let me just keep playing the video.
Problem at the same time. But Rich, now 1006, wouldn't forget what had been done to him, nor what they were doing to the orphans. He just needed to bide his time and wait for the right moment to strike.
Oh, I
Playtime
see.
Co. continued their development of the
Okay, last time I'm pausing. I know I'm pausing too much. So Rich became the prototype, right? Rich became the prototype after he started realizing what it was that company was doing to all of the children, right? Once they found out that he found out too much information, they turned him into the prototype because they needed to get rid of him. All of us thought the prototype was the villain. I thought the prototype was the main villain of the entire story. I don't know if he wants to get revenge for the kids or if he wants to save them, but I guess the prototype is probably not as bad as we all thought. He's probably just trying to protect all of the kids that were getting harmed. I don't really know if that's the case, but yo, y'all already know. Y'all let me know.
Bodies, but they struggled to find the success they'd had with 1006, usually unable to reactivate their brains after surgery. That is when Harley decided to try something different. He decided to make the bigger body physically bigger, rather than just trying to match the size of the test subject. It flew in the face of all logic, but he needed to try something, and the crazy part is, it worked.
There's no way it actually worked.
Experiment 1166.
So he was the second one.
And this discovery
after the prototype.
A new world of possibilities for the future. At this point, several orphans are showing promise in the game station, although there was one that caught Harley's attention specifically.
Who was this guy?
Davidson. He was a pretty average
Oh,
kid.
I know this guy. I know this. This is Catnap. I remember this dude, bro. This is Catnap, 100%.
Except he had a strange obsession with removing the heads off of all of his toys. However, Harley didn't see this disposition as a weakness. It was something he could take advantage of.
Of course, Harley wouldn't see that as something bad.
Scores higher and make him a more successful, bigger body down the road. Harley spends some one-on-one time with Quinn, convincing him that he understands Quinn better than most, and asking him to just simply apply himself at the next assessment. And next time, Quinn's scores did improve in most areas, although his intelligence seemed to wane a bit. But not enough to stop the inevitable. In August 1990, Quinn became Experiment 1166.
I'm dumb, bro. I'm dumb. Bro, I thought he became Catnap. I thought Quinn was Catnap, bro. I didn't know Quinn was freaking Yarnaby, bro. Yo, I really thought I was on to something, bro. That's actually embarrassing, bro. That is sad. Let's keep going.
He was strong.
So Quinn is Yarnaby. Okay, now I know. Now I know.
Wasn't where Harley wanted it. He saw him more like a dog, which, while not ideal, could be useful for protection. The more bigger bodies they made, the more things there were that could kill him and stop his progress. So Harley isolated Yarnaby, making Yarnaby loyal only to him. Around that same time, another orphan named Theodore Granville began causing some mischief in the playcare, breaking into rooms, stealing files, even stealing a grab pack. When questioned about
it, what is his name? What is this kid's name?
Theodore Granville causing some mischief in the playcare, breaking into rooms, stealing files, even stealing a grab pack. When questioned about it, he just said it was his friend that told him to do those things.
Wow, he snitched.
Just assume this friend is of the imaginary persuasion, but in reality, it was very, very real. 1006 had found a way out of containment and was using Theo to help them escape. Once it had
Okay. I know I was tripping the last time, but Theo is 100% Catnap. Because I remember that from a VHS tape now that I think about it. Theo is 100% Catnap. Catnap was working with the prototype. His friend that he was talking about, I'm assuming, is the prototype. And Theo's the one that became Catnap. Okay. Quinn, Yarnaby, Theo, Catnap. If I'm wrong, I'm just gonna look so goofy, bro.
To help them escape. Once it had all the information, 1006 and Theo made a break for it. Though, due to Theo's inexperience, he accidentally overcharges the electrified grab pack hand and electrocutes himself. At this moment, 1006 has a choice. Gain the freedom it wants or save Theo. It chooses the latter. It gives Theo over to the Playtime Co scientists and turns itself in to be locked away once again. Now, there is only one way the scientists are able to save Theo. And on November 11th, 1990, the bigger body Catnap was born. Experiment 1188. He was put into the play care because he was able to release the red gas just like the toy. And the kids would, hopefully, be much less suspicious of this big friendly toy than a typical showerhead. Again, Playtime Co. was killing two birds with one stone. The Bigger Bodies initiative was now in full swing. Between Catnap and Yarnaby, Huggy was created, and in 1991, he was put to work as Playtime Co.'s new security measure, though his wandering eyes were noticed by an employee who wasn't supposed to know anything, Rowan Stoll. Rowan wanted to get to the bottom of what was going on, and over the course of a few months, began to figure out exactly what Playtime Co. was doing. When he probably threatened to leak what he'd found to the public, Harley put his Bigger Bodies to good use.
Safe like repaired. And I get hit with an ad. Guys, give me some time. I don't have premium. Run it back.
The public, Harley put his Bigger Bodies to good use.
Now, we need to start tailoring that appetite of yours to flesh. Get me an update on the situation with Laurel Store.
That same year, another orphan, Marie Payne, began suffering from unwakeable nightmares thanks to Catnap's gas, leading to the latest experiment we know of to date.
That's where Mommy Longlegs comes in?
Mummy Longlegs. She was violent towards the staff, but kind towards the kids, making her the perfect guardian for the game station. And by May of 1992, the game station is in its heyday.
Wait, but how did they make Mommy Longlegs and I forgot, how did they make Huggy Wuggy? Because I understand they turned Rich into the prototype, they turned Quinn into Yarnaby, they turned Theo into Catnap, but who became Huggy Wuggy? I think they probably said it and I just forgot, I'm not gonna lie. And who did they turn into Mommy Longlegs? Like, I'm lost. Let me know, guys.
Working as planned. But one person is still causing problems. Elliot Ludwig had put a picture up in his office that one of the kids had given him of the game station and Mummy Longlegs. But when he sat there and looked at it, those decisions that had led to this point, they began to weigh heavy on his shoulders.
Yup, I know he felt guilty.
Felt that Harley's pursuit of innovation for the sake of it wasn't right. But the rest of the senior team seemed to be all for him, and it was hard to deny that the company was seeing success. Regardless, he knew he needed to put some kind of safety measure in place, something to keep Harley in check, just in case his worst fears came true. So he promoted one of the fellow scientists and Young Geniuses graduate, Dr. Bruno White, to become Harley's superior. Once Harley found out, he could think of this as nothing more than another betrayal from Elliot. And this time, he'd had enough. Elliot was too soft to keep things moving forward. He needed to be got rid of, just like every other problem employee they'd faced. One day, both the staff and the public were informed that Elliot Ludwig had passed away. But
Harley killed... I thought Elliot was still alive. Bro. So Harley killed Elliot, right? And we all know Harley. This dude Harley Sawyer probably just turned Elliot into another bigger body, knowing him, bro. Because he's not just gonna fully eliminate him just like that. He probably just turned him into another bigger body. Let's see.
But Harley Sawyer was the only one who knew the truth about what happened. Thanks to Dr. White's promotion, Harley's involvement in things slowly became less and less, leading Harley to become more and more frustrated and driving him more and more insane. Until one day, he decided to take matters into his own hands. During a guided tour of the factory in 1993, fires break out in the theater, causing casualties all across the facility. Obviously, Leif Pierre is furious. Now, he has to clean up the mess, taking care of any potential witnesses. This is not the kind of publicity Playtime needed. He brings back their private investigator, Jared, to figure out who is to blame, and true to his word, he gets them an answer.
Dr. Harley Sawyer.
After spouting rhetoric about one bad day and being betrayed by Elliot all of those years ago, Harley had finally gone full Joker and set the theater ablaze, baptizing everyone in the flames that he was working so hard to save them all from with his Bigger Bodies initiative. As Leith had suggested,
he turned all of them into bigger bodies?
Punished, but he can't justify the usual methods. Harley is an undeniable genius, and it would be a shame to lose such a brilliant mind when they definitely still needed him. The Bigger Bodies, while alive, were temperamental and hard to control. They needed to keep perfecting the process. This also meant turning Harley into a bigger body wasn't an option either, as he too would likely lose his mind. And that was when it hit them. Instead
they turned him into the
Harley
TV.
Into a bigger body, why not turn Harley into a digital consciousness.
Turned him
They
into
could
a
focus
TV.
all their attention.
Yo, they turned this dude Harley Sawyer into an AI, bro. That is crazy.
Keeping his mind.
How did they even do that? How did they keep his mind and consciousness inside of a TV? Like how?
Alive without the need for a working body. That way, Harley could still help them and guide the scientific process, but he couldn't physically cause any problems. It was perfect. By 1994,
how did they pull this off, bro?
Underway. The party line is that Harley is just out, maybe on a sabbatical or something. And in 1995, the new Playtime automated companion is up and running, ready to meet with scientists like PW. The system would end up being shut down after May of that year, but regardless, it was another success for Playtime Co. However, as we've seen time and time again, pride cometh before the fall. And this next fall would be the biggest Playtime had ever seen.
The joy of the hour of joy.
Playtime Co. had been dealing with Harley, 1006 had been plotting. They'd been gathering all the toys together and promising them the thing they all wanted.
Freedom.
They formulated a plan to take back the factory from Playtime and kill all those who'd helped turn them into monsters. They called it the Hour of Joy. And on August 8th, 1995,
yeah, they all went crazy.
Executed that plan. They attack everyone. Scientists, tour guides, construction workers. It didn't matter.
Everybody was gone.
Responsible. They all needed to die. The toys drag the bodies into the depths and slowly consume them to satiate their hunger. Only a small few managed to escape the carnage, Leith Pierre being one of them. Despite the insane loss the company was facing, he kept insisting Playtime Co. continue their work. He began recruitment efforts for a resource extraction team, people that would go back into Playtime Co. and collect the parts they needed to keep making bigger bodies. But eventually, the rising pressure from the public over the mysterious disappearance of the staff, their friends and family, was too much for even Leith to handle, and he shut down the factory for good.
In the Air Force,
another ad.
Nearly a decade passed, and the Playtime factory, as well as all that happened there, had largely been forgotten. The world had simply moved on. But in 2002, deep in the bowels of the factory, something or someone was coming back online.
Oh, this is when Harley Sawyer wakes up.
Mysterious slumber. Ironically, just as he'd always stated, his conversion had actually saved him from death. Unlike his former colleagues, he realized the opportunity he had. There was no one left to stop him. His plans could continue. He could save the rest of humanity from their mortal coil and convert them all into living eternal
There's no way that's what he wants to do.
He began hacking into the rest of Playtime Co.'s systems, taking control of all communications that were coming in and out of the factory. His plan would come to fruition. At the same time, the bigger bodies also remained in the factory, waiting for the prototype to save them as promised, but food supplies were running short. Some of them began to lose their faith that salvation would ever come. Dog Day was one such toy.
Dog Day, I felt so bad for him, bro.
Made an example of him. This type of threat, however, wouldn't work forever, and 1006 knew that. It needed to make progress. It was still trying to create its perfect body, but it just didn't have the know-how. Rich was just a simple construction worker. Sure, he could do some cool things with tech, but biology was a whole other ballgame. It needed help. So in 2005, it writes a note saying that the employees that went missing were actually still in the factory, waiting to be rescued. And it sends it to the only person that's not only around to hear it, but would actually care enough to make the trip. The player character.
So who is that person?
PW didn't show
the player is PW?
The player character, PW. PW didn't show up for work on August 8th, 1995. They were still alive, and more importantly, they actually cared about their fellow employees. If there was a chance their colleagues were still around, they needed to help them. Now, as a former employee, they knew their way around the factory. They knew where this flower was that they'd been pointed to. They just had to get there, while also trying to avoid an unpleasant reunion with one of their many bigger
that was
bodies
nasty.
Huggy Wuggy. PW finds Poppy behind the flower in the same room she always was, although there are now messages around the room warning them not to trust her. Regardless, once they open the case, Poppy agrees to help PW escape. See, she's not that bad at all. Only Mummy then shows up and kidnaps
and she
Poppy.
just takes her.
After beating all of Mummy's games, PW returns to Poppy and takes her to the train, only for Poppy to now change her mind and stop PW from leaving.
I'm sorry. I can't let you leave.
Yeah, this is
They
when
really
I
should have
was
trusted the sign.
at that point I was convinced that Poppy was a villain. I was like, yup, that's it. I knew we should have never trusted her, bro. It's like you can just see it, bro. Like she seems friendly, but you can just tell she's plotting, bro. And we don't know what her real goal is. It seems like everybody here has a different goal. Harley Sawyer has a whole different goal. The prototype, aka Rich, has a whole nother goal. The main character, apparently it's PW, but I don't know 100% if it's actually him, but hey, it might be him. The main character, his goal is just to, I guess, figure out what's going on and like save all the other employees and just, you know, see what's going on, right? Everybody has a whole different goal. Like it's like so many things all happening at the same time. Hey, we're gonna find out though.
The train crashes in front of the playcare, and with some surprising help from Poppy, Kissy Missy, and their ally Ollie, who may or may not be the prototype mimicking a child's voice to trick us, PW
That's also what I
makes
was
their
thinking.
way through the
No,
playcare.
actually, I thought it was the doctor that was mimicking Ollie's voice. But I mean, the prototype can mimic voices, so maybe it is the prototype actually like just mimicking his voice and just kind of trying to control us or something. I don't know.
Together, they defeat Catnap and begin the long trip down into Playtime's prison. But Kissy doesn't make the trip. She is killed by something on their way down. And all of this time, Harley has been watching through the security cameras, making his way down to the prison just a bit ahead of them to reunite with Yarnaby and lay whatever traps he has in store for us down in the depths, along with the nightmare critters, Pianosaurus, and a toy made from Play-Doh, Doughy the Dough Man. And
Doughy
that,
the
loyal
Dough
theorists,
Man,
is the
bro.
entire timeline of Poppy Playtime so far. Boy, this franchise is getting big.
Yeah,
this
this thing is
the last
different.
time I'll be able to do an entire timeline in one video. I mean, look at that runtime. Though I have to say it is refreshing that outside of a few bits of connective tissue, most of what we've talked about today are either things Mob has told us directly, or we have a lot of evidence to support. The only real details that are super speculative are things like when the Young Geniuses program started, or why Elliot agreed to start using children in the experiments. We said that the Young Geniuses program started in the 60s, but it could very well be the 50s based on the logo. Maybe they were even the ones that helped make the first Poppy dolls. But so long as Harley joins the company early, leaves, and then comes back to cause a bunch of problems, it doesn't really matter which decade it takes place. The same thing goes for Elliot's change of heart towards the orphans. We've got no evidence saying why he made the decisions he did. We may discover his reasoning in the future. It's just not going to change the order of events because we have set dates of when things have to happen. But there you have it, friends. Everything you could possibly need to know going into Chapter 4. And I don't know about you, but now I'm even more excited to see where all this goes. Who will our allies be? What is Harley's big plan? Will I have to rethink the identity of the prototype for a third time? I'm sure all will be revealed in a few weeks. In the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
Hey, W video by Game Theory. Yo, I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Even with all of this explanation, there is still so much that we don't even 100% know. I have more knowledge on the timeline now. I'm gonna be able to use that when we play Chapter 4. And yeah, yo, let me know in the comments what you guys think, how you guys are feeling about this new upcoming game. And if you guys are interested in seeing me play Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, stay tuned. The game comes out in 2 days, and I'm gonna be sure to play that game as soon as possible and upload it as soon as I possibly can. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed. It's your boy Jermaine, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.